Journey continues, we now arrive at a session that turns inward towards silence, reflection, and the quiet emotions that shape our lives. Those unsaid words, a story of love, is a conversation about love not as a dedication or declaration, but as experience, about journeys where meaning is discovered. Not in what is spoken, but in what is felt, remembered, and carried within. We are pleased to welcome Anshuman Agrihari sir, author of the novel Those Unsaid Words. We welcome you, sir, over the dais. An officer in the Indian Army, Lieutenant Colonel Anshuman Agrihari, brings together a life of discipline and a deep engagement with literature. He holds an M.Tech from IIT Roorkee and continues to pursue research and writing while currently working towards a PhD from IIT Indore. The inspiration for Those Unsaid Words emerged from his extensive time spent in the Leh and Ladakh regions. The book unfolds as a soulful philosophical travelogue, exploring self-discovery, human connection, and the subtle spiritual threads that bind individuals to nature. Joining him in conversation is Lori Patnaik, a professional whose journey bridges engineering, media, entrepreneurship, and storytelling. Ma'am, we welcome you over the dais. From controlling turbines to curating truths, Lori Patnaik's career reflects remarkable versatility. A former power plant engineer turned HR strategist, journalist, entrepreneur, and author, she brings over 16 years of experience across sectors that rarely intersect, yet come together seamlessly in her work. She spent more than 7 years in industrial operations, contributing to greenfield projects and the commissioning of large-scale power plants, before transitioning, after completing her engineering degree and an MBA in HR and IBM. Into journalism and writing, her work has appeared in leading publications including The Times of India, Hindustan Times, Dainik Bhaskar, and Sri Prakashan Journal. Today she is the co-founder of Web-O Doctor Inc., one of Madhya Pradesh's leading IT and digital strategy companies. With 16 books to her credit, including autobiographies of prominent figures from Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, she continues to explore storytelling across genres. As an author, panel moderator, and event content curator, she writes on health, lifestyle, education, and politics. Guided by a belief she lives by, whatever role life gives you, own it. Be the best version of you every single time. Please give her a big round of applause. Together, our speakers bring lived experience, reflection, and narrative sensitivity to this dialogue. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm round of applause as I invite Lieutenant Colonel Anshuman Agrihari and Lori Patnaik to begin this conversation on Those Unsaid Words as a story of love.
Thank you. I have always been on the other side of the mic. So it's been almost 17 years of me taking that ownership, and it feels great. Today, I have come with a thought that I'll be asking a numerous number of questions to a magnanimous personality, but I was held on with his subtleness and the kind of impositions that he had. So, Lieutenant Colonel, I really owe you the entire stage, and there's so much to unveil from your book. But before that, I would say to all the people out sitting here that literature festivals have always been about celebrating words, spoken, written, performed. But today, it's been more impactful because we are here to unveil something very, very powerful. Those are words that have never been spoken, that have always been kept to oneself. And I'm sure each one of us have been doing that for years now. So those unsaid words, when the book was handed over to me, was not just a book, but it was something which I felt that it held upon to silence that echoed. And for the last 17 years of my writing, Anshuman, I have very, very firmly believed that one could be necessarily a writer, but to bring words into life, you have to become a fine observer. And that's what I have peeked into your book.
Thank you.
So that every nitty-gritty that you've mentioned, and over that period of time, I was mesmerized by the character Tanvi. And to all our people here who've not been into the book, this is a prize which we would be giving it while the conversation we'll be having it here. And those unsaid words have not been a book that has been written out of a lot of research. It's been done with a kind of silence in and way out in the areas of Leh, where Anshuman had been through almost around 2 years? Yes, around 2 years in and around Leh, observing powerful stories. And you know what? What has actually struck me hard? Soldiers, right? That's quite impressive. Saving life and being at the edge of life and loss. Here I introduce Anshuman Agrehi, a soldier by profession and a writer by introspection, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So straight moving into our topic, that is those unsaid words, is actually about youth, love, self-love, aggression. And I think every youth here would connect to me. I'm at my 40s, okay? So I might become a bit older to you guys, but please help me understand your mindsets because I need to evolve with you all, okay? So aggression, self-love, and a bit of calmness. That's what all we are looking in for, right? So I think he's the right person who's going to guide us with the protagonist, Tanvi. Let me just deep dive into what Tanvi says. We all have begun our journey with something which is unflinching, and that's our youth. Everyone sitting here, right from the age of 60, 40, 20, everyone has touched that vertical that is youth. And Anshuman, Tanvi got to understand about love much before she could understand what is life. So tell us that what actually took you over to understand the story, because you have been traveling way in and out of Leh, and you've understood the life of being on the other side of the boundaries, and what actually helps us, or probably has been the youth mindset in understanding love, and most importantly, do they take love as something which is permanent, or later the experiences teach them that it is impermanent?
Okay, big question. Okay, so I was just an hour ago, I was there and I was asking question. Now I am this side of the table. Okay, so this book, the protagonist is a girl. So it was a tough thing for me to write about a girl. Like writing about like I'm a man. If I'll write about start with writing about a man, then it would be easy for me to write and people will listen to me. But if I write about a feeling of a girl, so it would be difficult. But somehow, my next book would also be from a girl's perspective. So I have seen my friends who would love to. Like she has told that I'm a good listener, good observer. So there are people, there are friends who you are very interested to telling me the story. So I have learned from their stories, basically girls' stories, and then I have pinned it down in this book. So this book goes like this. There is a girl, like she was mentioning about the youth. So there is a girl, when she is in her school days, or teenager, she falls for a boy, okay, and then good, handsome looking boy. That is what that age asks for. And when she goes to college, she goes to IIT Madras, and then her perspective changes. Now she feels, okay, that guy, I used to think that I am in love with, but I really not love with. So I want different guy. Because earlier I used to think that it is body that matters. Now I think that the mind, the mind and the synchronization of the that time soul that she used to call, and the feelings that matter. Okay, so at the first go, what you look for? You look for a good handsome person. Okay, but how much that handsome will last? 1 year, 2 year, and then in married life also the same thing happen. Okay, so if you have chosen a guy just looking from the body structure handsome or the money perspective, then after 2 3 years you will feel that okay, he does not understand me. Okay, so the synchronization matters. So when she goes into IIT Madras with intellectual people, she started thinking that okay, the guy I used to was in love with, I feel that I am not in love with. So she meets and she meets with other guy, and then she start falling with her, falling with him.
Yeah, I think there's something which you've very profoundly written. That is, and this is for all the people out here, girls, especially for you people. When two bodies meet, there's pleasure. When two minds meet, there's happiness.
Oh yes, yes. This is a good line that is written
Okay.
in the book. Yes.
So my thought of this to understand is, how do we segregate the narrative, and especially for a person like you who've been so guarded with rules, regulations, how do you introspect that scenario or that excerpt from the book? And most importantly, has this been a rebellious you to probably change the romantic narratives of today's time?
See, yes, ma'am.
That's something. Yeah.
Ma'am, we are going to have a Q&A round.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. So we have a question and answer later, ma'am.
Yeah,
What's the question?
that was a line
Okay,
which
okay.
was mentioned.
Okay, okay, okay.
And
So what I'm, she's, if your question is like how we decide, basically.
so it is all about like what compelled you to bring about that particular line, and to understand that yes, when there's an amalgamation of two beautiful mindsets, that's core happiness. How does one go through that?
So to know this, you have to like, that is what a life is. When we are 18, we will not understand. Your father says, or no, this guy is not a better for you. No, you'll say no, this is better for me. I understand better. But at the age of 40 years, like I am, so you start realizing these things. That what is the thought of a body and what is the thought of the mind, what is the thought of the soul. So at this age only I can tell. At the age of yours, you will not be able to understand. But yet you can understand from reading the books, you can understand from listening your elders. But at that age, it is tough. So that is how life is like. You fall in love, and then you feel that your love is special.
And that's why I think you said that thing, that she was, I mean, Tanvi was quite retrospecting of her decisions, and the moment that when she heard of the news of losing Akash, that was something which was, I think, running on the television, and that was when she got to know that, okay, the person where I could have met is no more. For many years now, that in my writing career, one thing I have understood is when we writers write, we focus more on depth than drama. And when there is depth, automatically there'll be an emotional honesty. Probably this book has been more of a storytelling with an emotional honesty, because you have unveiled emotions at a very premium level. Now, she inculpating herself for that particular misfortune, right? That I lost him, and it's all because of me, probably. why is grief or a kind of taking up the accountability of this particular situation? Something wrong has happened. Probably women's always take that responsibility that, okay, I'm accountable for this. Why is grief a self-casualty for a woman? Because you've written on the field of standing in a woman's perspective. What made you think that in case of woman, there's always grief whenever she encounters grief, it is always a self-casualty?
So I cannot comment that 100% women has that feeling, but I'll fill the gap first. Okay, so I was telling about the story of Tanvi. We have reached college IIT, so I'll fill the gap so that you understand what she is asking about. So when she was in college, she met a guy. She fall in love with him, and then he's smart guy, talented, but he is from Haryana, and this girl is from South India, so he's from Bangalore. So there is a culture in Haryana that one person will go to army. So he has to go to army. So he feels that I am the only son in my family, in my joint family, I have to join the army. And that time, that short service commission used to be 5 years. So he says that I'll come after 5 years, then we'll get our relationship, as a long distance relationship we should try. She start preparing for IAS, civil services, and this guy used to help her preparing in civil services. But once she clears, and that he is posted in Dharamshala, then in Kashmir Valley, and then there is a long distance. Then her parents tells her, okay, now you have to decide the life. You cannot, now the third angle comes, okay? You were thinking about a body, then you start thinking about mind, and then third you are thinking about life. Life will not go with love and mind only. It will go with money also, the status. So they offer, okay, you have to marry a IS officer or IFS officer. So they choose IFS officer for her. So on the day of the marriage, the same day, she woke up early in the morning and saw in TV, and there was a news that Captain Akash Sarmah is no more. And she spoke before that. She was not able to pick call. He was calling because there was a marriage. So she was not able to pick call. So she knew that there was a call from his side. So now at this moment, when you really love somebody, love is not a physical attachment. Love is beyond that. It could be that one of your best friend you are loving. You love your brother also. So with that, when he was calling and she didn't pick the call, and morning she saw that he is no more, she start feeling that if I would have picked the call, like it happens, like when your somebody goes and met with accident, you feel that okay, मैं उसको थोड़ी देर और रोक लेता अपने घर पे, थोड़ा और डिस्कशन कर लेता. So वो वाली फीलिंग उसके दिमाग में आ गई. And then she, small accident happened. She fell in a washroom, and then she get into coma. And then she start repeating his name, Akash. And the guy she was married with, he could hear her repeating a name of a person that he did not know, Akash. So he said, "Ye Akash kaun hai?" And then their marriage goes for sex.
So I think that is what that.
So my was like the incident, the moment. It is not. I can tell about one incident. I can tell about one story. I cannot generalize. It is for all women, but yes, for Tanvi, it was the case.
It was the case of accepting that guilt.
Yes.
And probably holding on oneself for some time instead of moving ahead. As you mentioned here that Akash was, so the other side of the character is Akash, and I think everyone can relate with that particular guy, because he's again one of those guys who had taken up the ownership of getting into a profession for the family commitment.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Instead of going into an IT high-paid career, he went into a profession as a family commitment and something which was his deep calling probably.
Yes.
So for many of us, I mean, for the people out here, I mean, in today's time, youth is kind of impactful, honest, extremely honest. Today's youth is extremely honest. Probably we didn't have the guts to say yes or no to our parents, but they have the gut. So please, a huge round of applause for the youth sitting here. So I want to know that what struck Akash. Let's take an example of him itself. सब में एक आकाश होगा, definitely, है ना? कि what struck Akash to get into a family committed career or a deep surrender to that inner calling कि मुझे forces में जाना है, and eventually how does the youth of today's time understand that what is supposed to be taken up as an ambition with a purpose?
Okay, so see, maybe the people at the southern part of India would not understand that much, but the northern part of India, basically from Punjab and Haryana, Rajasthan, they understand. The army is for Uttarakhand, for Himachal Pradesh. So army is not a profession. We say in army life, it's a life. So he has an option. He thought that I would make my family happy, like I'll go to army, and then I'll come out of army after 5 years. So I am fulfilling the both thing. So this character I have taken from myself only. When I got commission, my parents used to tell join army, join army, join army. But I had a good option. But then I thought once I join army, I can always come back and see the civil world. I leave army after 20, maybe I leave army after 20, and then I join some, if I want to be, go to IT or want to become a professor like sir or something, I can do. So maybe that was the thought process of Akash. He thought, okay, let's make everybody happy. Family also, and my friend also.
But I think his words remain unspoken.
Yeah, he was not able to you are not 100% sure. So he could not say. Matlab in the book if you read, they never said that I love you. But like my daughter, she is just 3 or 4 year old. 4 years, she has turned 4. Every morning she says I love you. But maybe then but every morning she tells I love you. But I think she has not understood I love you, what I love you means. Yeah, she has been told to say, and she just says. So they have never told each other I love you, but the feeling was way beyond that.
When we cross the midsection of your book, it is more about coincidences, right? Which comes up as a healing. और आजकल तो हर कोई हीलिंग के बारे में बात कर रहा है, तो एक्सपर्ट हीलिंग्स भी आ रहे हैं, डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ हीलिंग्स आर कमिंग, एंड थ्रू दिस बुक again I'll pull in one more excerpt from the book which says that everything that happens with you happens for a reason. And sometimes I get struck of this particular narrative that comes into my mind that I'm sure each one of you would agree that some people come into your life for a season, some for a reason, and some for lifetime. Akash जो है तन्वी के life में had come probably for a lifetime. That dropped in an impactful transformation in that particular girl, right? So coincidences and healing, इस चीज़ को how do we take it further to the next generation? Because when you see that words were not spoken. Now, words were not spoken because of multiple reasons. And today, the time that youth and probably even people of our age would agree, what we are all fighting for is to showcase our emotions. और अभी के स्टेज में मुझे लग रहा है कि emotions are more louder, but कभी कभी सोशल मीडिया के डिजिटल इवॉल्विंग से ऐसा हो रहा है कि इमोशंस कहीं ना कहीं स्वीप फॉरवर्ड हो रहा है. सो व्हाई इज दिस हैपनिंग एंड व्हाट डू यू सजेस्ट देम टू डू?
Okay, okay. Big questions. Okay, uh, you know Gandhari. So once the Mahabharat Yudh finished, so Gandhari curses Krishna. Okay, your Dwarka will be submerged into the water, and Krishna patiently listen it. And at the end of when he was about to go to Dwarka, he goes to Gandhari and says, curses and blessings will not change anything. It is not the first time that Dwarka is submerging into the water. It is not the first time you have come into this world. You have come to this world many times. And many times I have taken this avatar. Many times I have died. And many times Dwarka has submerged into the water. Whatever is supposed to happen will happen. You cannot change it. So what you can change? You can change the perspective. You can change, okay, like I do a right thing, or I should not like worry about something, or I should not regret. I think I lost the question.
So the question is like, how do we surpass this emotional, I would say, boundary?
Yeah, boundary. So I'll again tell the story, and then you will able to recollect or understand what she is asking. So what happens? We have reached the incident of Tanvi. Okay, so his husband says, okay, she does not love me. She just got married. What should happen? Then she has a very fractured married life. So she gets the opportunity to go through Leh Ladakh. And that is where this book start. That is my understanding. And she travels from Manali to Leh Ladakh. And uh, there she start thinking about all these things and start understanding all these things. Why this has happened? Why this was not happened? Why I have not taken decision? If I have taken decision like this, it would have happened like that. Or so see, so there is a something I have taken from, I have taken inspiration from Mandukya Upanishad. It talks about who I am. So if you start reading about it, if you start knowing about it, then you start living. You said, okay, I should live a good life, that's all. I should do whatever right, that's all. So we cannot control things.
We cannot control things, but there are certain mileage that I'll speak of. See, we are in this world where there are multiple options. Now, I'm sure each one of us have had this move on concept in our lives in every decade that we have lived for. So there's this point where she has been blabbering Akarsh's name when she was on the bed, and then eventually she could understand कि चलो ठीक है, इसमें से निकल के now have to go to those mountains and relive those moments and try to understand कि क्या ऐसा छूट गया मेरे हाथ से, right? So we are talking about multiple options. So when there are number of choices, probably people don't have that care of that particular thing. You agree? Right?
Yes,
So
yes.
आजकल क्या हो रहा है that there are number of choices. So बहुत easily ये move on culture चल रहा है. कुछ नहीं हुआ, move on. Detach yourself. Don't overthink. Right?
Yes.
So was Tanvi also representing that move on culture, or probably you would say that there has to be a thin line of self emergence and move on culture?
Uh, very deep questions. Uh, so I don't think that actually see, when you take decision at at the time of days taking such a decision, you don't know whether you are doing something wrong or right. So even if somebody takes decision, even these days, if somebody is married for 30 odd years and taking divorce, so at that time, at 30 years also, she does not feel that I am taking a wrong decision. And she will never say that I have a feeling of moving on. until unless she is very convinced that I am taking this decision. People outside may call it move on, but she will never say that it was move on. So
Probably it
I
was
don't see.
detachment.
Yeah,
It was detachment.
How can I say that it was detachment? Or
So
you can read the book and then you understand what it was. But saying this, saying it, moving on, I will not agree. But there are many things in life we take decisions. Okay, so you fall in love with somebody, you are deeply in love with that guy, and that guy is not doing anything in life. He is a drunkard. So you have to go ahead. That is not moving on. You have taken a wise decision. So I'm just giving an example, a very wild example. In this case, the scenario was different. Everybody has a theory of relativity. Everybody has a different aspects, na. So in this case, basic case, but उसके case में it would have been different. उसके case में मतलब उसको वो standard का चाहिए होगा. Maybe the family pressure or society pressure.
I think we all are through that phase. We have some might be living it. Some might be living it at their particular age with the move on culture, with the detachment, or with that fear of overthinking. And some have surpassed. So people who have surpassed would be here quite, at a gloomy mode with a smile on their face. So this question was basically for those who are still on that phase. कि चलो move on कर जाओ, right? So now that we'll come to the intellectual compatibility part, where उसको तो सब मिला, IAS ऑफिसर भी मिल गया, उसको एक बहुत ऐसा व्यक्ति भी मिला जो शायद उससे बहुत प्यार करता था, right? But things went unspoken. So it all started across the boundaries of Leh, in and around Leh, when you were spending your 2 years, and you had observed a lot of stories probably around yourself. But I would say that these 2 years, or that churned around to motivate you to write this book, would be from guilt to a kind of stillness. You agree? कि एक stories जो भी आपके आसपास चल रहे थे, या from wherever you had imagined this source, comes down to a stillness when you take yourself back into those. Yes. So इसमें इस तरीके के जो चीज़ें हुई, because I believe the most rational mindset people have right now is from the profession that you guys belong to. And as a soldier, as a rational mind, what has actually inspired you in Leh beyond the story?
Okay, everybody has like a takeoff level. Okay, with this energy, I'll get into other energy level. So I always wanted to write something different. So the concept I always wanted to take, that travel logs. Everybody write travel log. If you want to read about Leh Ladakh, you can read number of books, but it is a travel log. It won't be that interesting. So I just wanted to choose a location where should I write. So maybe my life has taken almost 30 odd years to take me to that place where I should start writing. So I had all the stories, I had all the moments. I just needed a place where to write. So God has taken me to Leh Ladakh, and then there was the place which hit me. And then I started writing the story. So I have taken that area, that route, and I have merged with another story. So one story, one place. I have merged it, and that is how I have written this.
This eventually ends the story, the narratives for the people here to understand that it eventually ends with a kind of aggression, and then, as I spoke in the beginning of my talk, that it eventually ends with calmness.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we have aggression, we have calmness, but I think we have a whole lot of generations sitting here where we need to help them out to sort the difference between self-love and self-absolution. So for a character like Tanvi, which probably relates to each and every one in their lives, do you think that it has been her emotionally healing situation that she had been through, or she just did not regret of not taking that accountability of what happened in her life.
No, no. So what she has gone to Leh Ladakh again. Come to the story. She has gone to Leh Ladakh, and she started coming and knowing about different people. There are 10 odd group of people that moving. So she started learning from their life also. And then in the last, I think second last chapter, it talks deeply about philosophy, where she understands that whatever happened for a reason. Okay, so she somehow relieved that the decision or that whatever happened with Akars was not because of her. So I think that is the end of the story in this. Whether she goes back to her husband and or not, it is not written in this book. It is open-ended.
So I think for that, you guys have to deep dive into the book to understand that whether she's gone back to her husband or not, or she's still in that phase of transformation. We still have a few minutes where I can, have the audience to come around and speak your minds out, because that is most which is required. Any one of you who want to ask him a question?
A few lines. I'll read few lines. Okay. So if so, so this book is basically for those people who is like recently into love or teenager kind of people. So like it has a that this what we call it, 1 week of something coming in Feb.
Valentine.
Valentine week. Okay. So that Akash used to write every day. He has written something. So there is a quotation for. I'll just read the 9th Feb. 9th Feb is a chocolate day. He writes, "Let's be each other's taste. Happy Chocolate Day." So on Promise Day, he writes, "I won't promise that I'll get stars for you, but will hold your hand and stand beside you, even if all stars betray you." Happy Promise Day. So from a teenager point of view, this is okay. I'll read few lines. Okay, for literature kind of people who love literature. So this book, I have tried to there is something called personification. So if there is a tree, can tree talk? And what is the feeling of that tree? If there is a hill, can hill talk? What is the feeling of hill? So it is all mentioned in this book. It says like it personifies the sun, and then it says, "The sun has always liked watching the seeds sprout, the buds growing as flower, butterflies alighting over those flowers, chirping of the birds on the nearby tree, and the morning breeze hosting the flag of the greatness of the sun." So something of this kind, like if you are a literature lover or a philosophical lover, so you love. It is not a book that you finish in one day. It is something which you read slowly and slowly and understand.
So if you were out from your technical mindset, I would ask you to get in a deeper mode to those unsaid words. This is also readily available at the stalls outside and Amazon online. But to give it a closure, those unsaid words, as everyone knows, that words which were not spoken, and emotional honesty is something that is very rare in today's time, and I strongly applaud with a honest conviction that the young minds of today are more emotionally honest, and please guys, be emotionally honest. Okay. And when I ended this chapter, what last thing I want to conclude here is love doesn't always come with answers. Because initially, towards the beginning of the chapter, I was still inquisitive to understand that, okay, this guy has left and probably Tanvi is going to, give a full stop or a period to that thought. But which eventually made me understand that it doesn't come with an answer, but it certainly comes with a level of acceptance. And
yes,
a level of acceptance that probably transforms us as an individual. So जो वो move on culture है ना, उसको थोड़ा सा धीमे करके इंडिविजुअल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन पे फोकस करेंगे तो जो बंदा या बंदी अपनी ज़िंदगी में होंगे, इट could not only just be the intimate love stories around, but people around who are actually inspiring us. So वो एक लेवल का ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन आ जाएगा और फिर शायद हर कोई those unsaid words लिखेंगे, right? So thank you everyone, and thank you Anshuman for giving us this whole answer with an acceptance. Thank you everybody.
Now we are open for the questions. If you are having any questions, please do ask. Yes, ma'am.
I don't have, I will read your story, but it was very interesting. The way to get
Thank you, ma'am.
detached, I think, is I love my grandfather so much. When I lost him, I was really so much. So the way I get detached, you told how to get detached is, the way is like his life, the journey of his life is different, and my journey of life is different. Almighty has created the way like this way. So only way to get detached is just have an acceptance that my journey is different, his journey is different. That moments we were together, that was for pinch of time. So enjoy that, and that acceptance should be there. That's what I want to do.
So again, ma'am, that quote of Krishna, he says, you cannot you cannot do anything. Whatever is supposed to happen will happen.
Yes.
It is just you feel that I am doing this.
Yes.
You can influence it.
Yes.
So better to accept.
Yes. That's. Thank you.
Somebody was.
Good afternoon, sir. So it was just a vibrant session and all the love around here, and myself, Bhumi. So I want to ask that falling in love in the age and then managing to go to IIT Roorkee. So how did you falling in love is a kind of distraction only. Then how did you went to manage to IIT Roorkee? So this was my personal question.
Oh my God. So.
So before
Okay.
you start, I'm sorry, Anshuman, to intervene. So all intellectual people fall in love only. So probably IIT Roorkee has been his first love. Okay?
Yes, you need to prioritize thing. Okay. So how to reach? Like, if you feel like I want to go to USA, and you start thinking today only that you want to go to USA. Okay. So you cannot go. So that is the last target, but you should have an immediate target in life. So yes, you feel like, okay, I'll tell you the story. So after I got commission, I went back to the girl whom I used to think that I was in love with. So I never confessed her. So when I asked that I feel that I am in love with you, so she told, oh, I was in love with some guy since class 8th. Okay. But I did that thing after I got commission. So priority of life, like you have to prioritize where to fall. Okay.
That is extremely well answered. So you have to prioritize where you need to fall, else you will stumble, and you'll stumble hard. So I think you want to say something? Please go ahead.
It's like a really small question, but like just a minus a doubt. What is the difference between moving on and acceptance, or like letting go? Like, I used to think that both are similar things, just like another fancy word nowadays, like moving on. But like, what is the difference between them?
You're questioning me?
Yeah.
Great. So when you talk about moving on, there's no period. There's no period at all. Okay? And when you talk about acceptance, it is more about evolving yourself. You might move on, but there might be compartments in your mind where you might be having a lot of ifs and buts, good and bad, about the other person. But when there is acceptance, you will understand the fact that whatever has happened for my self-evolvement. It's harsh. It's extremely harsh. It's not that easy the way I'm floating it on with words. But it is the reality check. So when you move on, as I said, there's no full stop, there's no period, nothing. And when you have acceptance, you'll have multiple pauses in your life, but you will blossom like a flower.
Should I add on? Okay, so very simply, love and relationship is basically seen from where? From your heart and soul. Once you are taking some decision, just from your mind and doing it, and if that decision leads to moving on or leaving one person, that is moving on. If you are taking some decisions from your heart and doing it, then I thought, okay, it's not moving on, but it is, yes, going ahead in life. That is how I perceive. It could be different.
We have a time for one more question. Sir, please introduce yourself and ask the question.
Okay, my name is Deepak. So my question is that you talk about moving on and detachment. But sometimes you reach to a stage in life where you cannot actually move on. You cannot cross the boundary. So detachment becomes compromise. So what is the difference? And in your story, what basically Tanvi ends with? I mean, compromising or detaching? And
Okay, so these are very it is like talking about life. I am not expert, but yes, I have written a book. But see, there is very fine differences. Okay, somebody got married. Okay, somebody will after staying of 10 years, she will say, okay, I'll not. I'm not. Yeah, a man will say that I'm not comfortable. I'll move on. And somebody will say, okay, I have a kid. I have to take care. That is my responsibility. I will not do it. So that is not. It is not just like he is taking some bad decision for himself. At that time, if he is taking decision and he is doing it, maybe he'll for few years he'll say, okay, I've taken just this decision for my kid or my family, and I am compromising. But later on, I feel that he'll feel good. It is that it will pass, sir.
I think I am audible.
No, sir, आप mic थोड़ा पास पकड़िए.
Hello. See, I find story is very interesting when you have given the example of Krishna and Gandhari. See, in the life there are two things. One is the head and another is the heart. So once you think about the head, heart is not nourished. When you think about the heart, head is not nourished. And whatever happens is a combination of both. No, at particular instant, you really enjoy the things when it is done from the heart. You know it, but you make a sort of rational compromise, as you said that you have told her after you got commission and then you have gone there. So most of the times we miss that in the rationality, we miss that energy of heart. And very nicely played this thing, and that mystery is continued at the end also. Because that mystery is there in everybody's life. Because you keep on balancing head and heart, the whole life goes on like that. But yes, I think when I weep, I think that time I am more human. And when I do a very strategic thinking and all that, I think I am not that much human as I have to be. That's all.
Sir.
So,
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Yusra Khan, and I have a question. What inspired you to write from a female's perspective? Like, rather than choosing the easier option, like you mentioned, you are a man, so you can write from a man's perspective. But you chose to write from a female's perspective. What inspired you to write from a female's perspective?
Okay, so to choose a tough path, sometimes like choosing challenges. मतलब ये तो word है केवल, but what was the reason behind? I always felt that something is told to girls, or maybe maybe I'm wrong, but I should like I always thought that there is some gap, what is happening in life, and a girl should all read such kind of a thing, what is happening in life. And I have read across number of books. I have never find that which covers the teenage, the feeling of the teenage, and then growing up, and then going back and thinking whether she has taken a right decision or not. So I had few story like I was telling Laurie that this book, 60% of the story of this book is true, though I have called it fiction. So I have taken from somebody's life. So that is how I have written. And choosing a girl, somehow I am more interested in girls. I want to understand
be it
the
his
feeling.
wife or his
It is-
daughter, he is more interested. Let me be
So-
very clear.
So the feelings of a girl, it is very like for man it is yes or no. For women it is if she says yes, it could mean no. If he says no, it could mean yes. So I just want to understand what is that yes, no, yes, yes, no, no. So that is how.
So when it's a no, it's a no.
So as we conclude this enriching Q&A session, as I've mentioned earlier in our previous sessions as well, that we are celebrating the Vishwa Hindi Divas today, which is 10th of January. And इसी के लिए गुलजार की एक कविता जो मैं है आप लोगों के साथ प्रस्तुत करना चाहूँगा, जो Those Unsaid Words, A Story of Love को भी कहीं ना कहीं हम उसमें देख सकेंगे उस कहानी को. गुलजार कहते हैं या लिखते हैं, तुम्हारे खत में नया एक सलाम किसका था? तुम्हारे खत में नया एक सलाम किसका था? ना था रकीब तो आखिर वो नाम किसका था? वो कतरा कतरा जो बरसात में उतरता है, वो कतरा कतरा जो बरसात में उतरता है, हमारे जिस्म में वो कौन सा जाम किसका था? As we conclude this very enriching session, it was quite contemplative, I'm sure. Ladies and gentlemen, we should put our hands together. तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट से हमें समझ आना चाहिए कि कैसा सेशन था. And to honor our distinguished guest, I would now like to invite Brigadier Sanjay Agrawal, a founding member of the Society for Culture and Environment, to kindly join us on stage to present a token of our gratitude. This is not merely a memento. We are privileged to share with you a genuine piece of our history. This is the special BLF 2026 memento. The legendary Padma Shri Durga Bai created this artwork specifically for BLF 26. It depicts little Gorlaiya, a story of devotion. A tiny bird loved by Bhangsu is transformed by the tribal god Burra Dev into a beautiful maiden, bringing joy to him and his struggling family. It's a beautiful symbol of how nature and humanity are intertwined, just like the conversation we heard today. Thank you to our speakers for this thoughtful exchange, and thank you, Bhopal, for being such a sensitive and attentive audience. We look forward to welcome you to the next session. Thank you.